Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girimanadari Gopijana Balaba Girimanadari Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Chamunatira Unatari Jamunatira Unatari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamunatira Unatari Jamunatira Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pari Bhajakacharya Sit Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakota Vaishnavrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavadam Ki Mathuradam Ki Dwarkadam Ki Navadipdam Ki Jagannapuridam Ki Jamunamai Ki Gangamai Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki, Shri Siddhara Giridhara Ki, Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga Ki, Gopremanande. All glories of the assembled devotees, all glories of the assembled devotees, all glories of the assembled devotees, all glories of divine lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dhammaganadi Bisaha Kalana Saja Shamesha Parano Ko Nidodita Narayana Namaskricha Naram Chaivam Narottama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayat. The Bhagavatam is burned as the sun that is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision to the dense darkness of the age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the srimadbhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should first offer our respects to the personality of God in Narayan, the Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, the goddess of the living Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. So we are on Canto 4, Chapter 25, Text 28. Narada Muni is continuing his allegory to Maharaj Prachini Barashat. Let's see here. Tvam Hari Bhavani Asi Ata Vag Rama Patim Vichinvati Kim Munivad Roho Vane Twad Angri Kamapta Samasta Kamam Va Padma Kosha Patita Karagat Grat Tvamri Bhavanasya Tavagramapatim Vichinvati Kim Munivad Brahovane Tvarangri Kamapta Samasta Kamam Vapadma Kosha Patita Karagrat Tvamri Bhavani Asya Tavagramapatim Vichinvati kim munivadbrahovane. Tvadangrikam apta samastakamam. Vapadma kosha patita karagrat. Tvam hri bhavanyasya takvagramapatim. Vichinvati kim munivadbrahovane. Tvadangrikam apta samastakamam. Vapadma kosha patita karagrat. Tvam hri bhavanasya tahim. Vichinvati kim munivadbrahovane. Tvadangrikam apta samastakamam. Hari Vapadma kosha patita karagat. Vapadma kosha patita karagrat. Tam hrir bhavanasya namapatim. Vichin kim munivadbrahovane. Tvadangrikam apta samastakamam. Vapadma kosha patita karagrat. Tvahi bhavanyasya takagnatim. Vichinvati kim munivadbrahovane. Tvadangrikam apta samastakamam. Vapadma kosha patita karagat. Tvam, you, Harir, shyness, Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, Asi, are, Ata, rather, Vak, Saraswati, the goddess of learning, Rama, the goddess of fortune, Patim, husband, Vichinvati, searching after, thinking of, Kim, are you, Munivat, like a sage, Raha, in this lonely place, Vani, in the forest, Tvat Angri, your feet, Kama, desiring, Apta, achieved, Samasta, all, Kamam, desirable things, Va, where is, Padmakosha, your lotus flower, the lotus flower, Patita, fallen, Kara, of the hand, Agrat, from the front portion or palm. Just imagine the scene. You're in the forest, beautiful girl, here's a powerful king, and you can imagine. My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune, or the wife of Lord Shiva, or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you're loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are as silent as the great sages. It is that you're searching after your own husband? Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulences. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I don't see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore I am asking you, where have you thrown the lotus? Also you say, my dear beautiful girl, You are exactly like the goddess of fortune, or the wife of Lord Shiva, or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are as silent as the great sages. Is it that you're searching after your own husband? Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulence. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I don't see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore I am asking you, where have you thrown that lotus? Purport. Everyone thinks that his intelligence is perfect. Sometimes one employs the intelligence in the worship of Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva, in order to obtain a beautiful wife. Sometimes, when one wants to become learned as Lord Brahma, he employs his intelligence in the worship of the goddess of learning, Saraswati. Sometimes, when one wishes to become opulent as Lord Vishnu, he worships the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. In this verse, all these inquiries are made by King Paranjana, the living entity who is bewildered and does not know how to employ his intelligence. Intelligence should be employed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as one uses his intelligence in this way, the goddess of fortune automatically becomes favorable to him. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, never remains without her husband, Lord Vishnu. Consequently, when one worships Lord Vishnu, he automatically obtains the favor of the goddess of fortune. One should not, like Ravana, worship the goddess of fortune alone, for she cannot remain long without her husband. Therefore her other name is Chanchala, or restless, flickering. In this verse, it is clear that Paranjan is representing our intelligence while he is talking with the girl. He has not only appreciated the shyness of the girl, but actually becomes more and more attracted by that shyness. He was actually thinking of becoming her husband and consequently was asking her whether she was thinking of her prospective husband or whether she was married. This is an example of bhoga icha, the desire from enjoyment. One who is attracted by such desires becomes conditioned in the material world, and one who is not so attracted attains liberation. King Paranjana was appreciating the beauty of the girl as if she were the goddess of fortune. But at the same time, he was careful to understand that the goddess of fortune cannot be enjoyed by anyone except Vishnu. Since he doubted whether the girl was the goddess of fortune, he inquired about the lotus flower she was not holding. The material world is also the goddess of fortune because the material energy works under the direction of Lord Vishnu, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. The material world cannot be enjoyed by any living entity. If one so desires to enjoy it, he immediately becomes a demon like Ravana, Hiranyakasipu, or Kamsa. Because Ravana wanted to enjoy the goddess of fortune Sita, he was vanquished with all of his family, wealth, and opulence. One can, however, enjoy that Maya bestowed upon the living entity by Lord Vishnu. The satisfaction of one's senses and desires means enjoying Maya, not the goddess of fortune. Om Gyanatamrandasya Gyanagana Salakaya Chakshu Shrimilitan Tazare Shri Gurave Namaha. So as I've said before, and I like to say again, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if all the books of the world were lost, like the burning of the library at Alexandria, considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and Bhagavatam remained, nothing would be lost. And Prabhupada repeatedly said about our Gurukulas that you teach them some basics. They should know some math, they should know English, they should know, a little geography, but really, if they learn Sanskrit and can read the Bhagavatam, they'll know everything. And here we have how to seduce a woman. What are the sweet words, flattery, what flowers have power? candy is dandy, you know, but if you can sing some sweet words, it's very seductive. And we all like to be praised. It's you know, it's an intoxicant. That you know. And but what did Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur say about one who flatters you? It's your worst enemy. Because we actually believe our own propaganda. You know, we hear, oh, you're this, you're that, and we start to think it. You know, pride goes before a fall, isn't it? So here it is that and I was thinking how Krishna's expert at flattering. Of course, well, I'll open it up. Who can think of ways that Krishna was expert at flattering? Who were some personalities that Krishna flattered? I can think of two. What's that? Who's? Huh? I was thinking of Brikasura. Isn't it who was going to touch? And he said, oh, you're coming from a noble family, you're this, and the guy completely dropped his guard and touched his own head and killed himself, you know. So Krishna's expert. I was also thinking Krishna's expert at flattering Radharani, at flattering the gopis, you know. He's expert at flattering his father about this Govardhan Puja. So it's very powerful, what to speak of from Krishna, but we should be very careful. Someone who corrects us. What is the mantra from Vaisheshika Prabhu? That we live to be corrected. I mean, that, for me, an arrogant person like me, that's just like chewing glass, that we live to be correct. What? I live to be praised. I live to be honored. I live to be respected. Bow down to me. But live to be corrected, well, that's just like worse than hell. But otherwise, what is our future? How will we change? We have to accept that we need to change. We need to grow. I'm not, as it says here, my intelligence, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but my intelligence is not perfect. I remember, of course we're jumping a little bit ahead, but I was speaking in Denver. It was actually Boulder, Colorado, University of Denver. And you know, it's a good university, materially speaking, and you don't get in there unless you've got good grades and bucks, and they're a little arrogant, you know? And so the devotees were telling me, you got to be careful what you say. You don't want to tick them off. You got to do this and that, you know? So I was thinking like that, but I got a little frustrated by it, you know? And question and answer is always the best part. So somebody was asking some questions. Well, in my opinion. And I figured, what the hey? I'm just going to go for it. I said, you know what? No one cares for your opinion. Your opinion is useless. I said, my opinion's useless. Your opinion's useless. No one cares. Oh, you could have heard a pin drop. They were shocked. You're offending my personhood. My intelligence, my opinion. But, we went on to explain, we're conditioned souls. We have 4 defects. Fool number 1, fool number 2. Anyone know who fool number 1, fool number 2 is? Fool number 1 is the one who says something foolish. Okay, now who's fool number 2? The one who enthusiastically follows it. And that's all we've got. Fool number 1, fool. What is it based on? You think. What's it based on? So, they were sure they got over it, but they, actually had a little fun. I thought, wake up. So, I wanted to read, it was describing here who to worship. Everything's in the Bhagavatam. So this is a section from who to worship and what you get. If you're ever cruising the pages of Amazon, all the different options of how many things you can buy. So this is from the 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, from the start there, 2nd through 7th. One who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma or Brihaspati. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king Indra. And one who desires good children should worship the great progenitors called Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. One who's desiring great power should worship fire. One who aspires only after money should worship the Vasus. One should worship the Rudra incarnations of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a hero. One who wants a good stock of grains should worship Aditi. It goes on like this for 2 pages. Whatever you're shopping for, here's who you can worship. Sounds good, man. Just, pick what you want, click on it, and off you go. One who wants a good material, actually that's a Freudian slip. It's called marital. But you switch the I over, it becomes martial. Spoken as a previous householder. And as a sannyasi, I have the right. So you could worship Uma. So it goes on and on and on. Okay. It's bewildering. Sounds good. I mean, we've had devotees who've done different pujas for the Lord Shiva. And we offer all respects to the demigods. Many of them are great devotees, so we don't disrespect them. But we're not distracted. So, and we're going to get into that to a second. But how does the Bhagavatam close this section? Of all these, what do you want? Here it is. Here's how you get it. But beautiful Bhagavatam concludes. But one who desires nothing for material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What? I want nothing? A person who has broader intelligence, whether he's full of material desires, without material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme. Transcendental knowledge in relation to the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of the material modes. As it says here, what is the word? Anyway, I'll get it later on in the word for word in the verse, which means simply wandering, searching after. What is it? Parikshit means the examiner, doesn't it? Yeah. And I was thinking, who is it? Diogenes? Who was searching, looking for an honest man from Greek mythology. So, we're all looking. Where is that shelter? And we try it here. Well, that didn't work out. My favorite example was the man who I shaved up here at the temple when I was the temple president, who had all the scars on his head. I said, what happened to your head? You look like you were in a Veg-O-Matic, or you used to play rugby. What happened? The guy said, this is my first wife. Hit me with a rolling pin. So this is my second wife, hit me with a golf club. I swear to you, it's true. This is my third wife, slammed my head in a car door. I was thinking, how do you even do that, And the guy, we used to have a dinner program here. He was here for about 3 or 4 months, and he ran off with a girl he met at the dinner program. And everybody said, stay a devotee or not, but no, got her married in Las Vegas. And who knows what happened? He's probably got a new, glorification of his head. And, it's the same thing for women. We're not being gender specific here, but one who has broader intelligence, we're all looking to take shelter. People take shelter of drugs. People take shelter of poetry. People take shelter of their own personal strength. People take shelter of you see these old geezers, and no offense. On one hand, it's meritorious. That, they're 80 years old, and you see the husband and wife holding hands, and everything's, it's so cute. They still love each other. They still hold hands, But as Balaram said the other day, that you're at the wedding and till death do you part. What is an intelligent? I now pronounce you man and wife till death do you, richer or poorer, this and that. You are locked in. Till death do you part. So what does an intelligent person conclude? No, you'd gone a step further. Did you hear what he said? Spoken as a true Brahmacharya. Well, let's part now. But the point I was going to make was that you have to part. Even you're 80 years old and you still love each other and, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Great. You stayed married. Now, that's often an austerity. I mean, we have the example of Raj here. We have Ramapati. We have Bhakti Ed. They're very good householders. And anyone who's a householder knows it's not easy. You always think you got the wife fluffing your pillow and cooking your favorite whatever. Forget it, man. It is hard work. So, and that you stay together out of dharma. They're not attached. They're staying together that's a very noble thing. It's noble. But even you do it right, even you're in goodness, even you're noble, exit stage left, bye-bye. And where do you go and where does she go? Who knows? So one should be intelligent. Here it says one who has broader intelligence. So we're looking for shelter, but we just have to be honest. It doesn't pan out. Such knowledge is self-satisfying. Due to it being free from material attachment and being transcendental, it is approved by authorities. Who could fail to be attracted? So the Bhagavatam says here, you want to get it. We know how to get it. It's not that we don't. Sometimes they think, oh, devotees. What were your parents saying? At least you just want to get a good meal and you don't want to hassle with a job. All right, fine. It's for goodwill willies and keeps you off the street at night. And at least you're not on welfare, They have so many misconceptions. But well, anyway, I guess I'll say that first. So everyone's looking for shelter. But the devotee knows what is real shelter. That is self-satisfying, permanent shelter. And the wonderful thing, we've said it, but we'll say it again. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in his Shikshastikam, the happiness of the material world, who was the guy? Howard Hughes. What's the time? Jeez. Howard Hughes, the richest man in the world who went bonkers. But he was completely attached to, the caramel pecan ice cream. I think it was a butter pecan ice cream from Baskin and Robbins. And wherever he was in the world, he was flown a couple pints so he could always have fresh. He was in South America. Where was he? He'd get flown. So this went on for about a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, I don't know. But after a while, what happened between Howard Hughes and his rasa with caramel pecan or butter pecan? He got tired. He said, geez, not again, You get, if you go to Baskin and Robbins, which we don't, we have a nice ice cream maker. You have the book Bhagavat and the personality Bhagavat. So we have the ice cream maker, and we have Jamal, who makes the ice cream. And that mango ice cream was just fantastic, You could hear the cows moving. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so you get... but thank you. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says you get tired of it, but a spiritual taste, not only does it not become saturated, what happens? It's an ever-increasing ocean. Prabhupada makes a classic example. Everybody in this room, we've been chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada says, what happens if you chant Coca-Cola? Or, well, Coca-Cola, that's, fizzy, rot your teeth. Let's chant love, or let's chant sunshine, or let's chant fidelity. Let's chant peace, peace. How long can you go on? You just run out of steam. You think, oh, jeez, man. But the more you chant Hare Krishna, look, Raj, Dravida, Vijay, myself, all the rest of you are senior devotees. But we put in 40, 50 years at it. How does japa feel to you now? Dravida Prabhu, Vijay, Raj. Does it feel like a burden? Oh, I got to pick up that bead bag again? We look forward to it. It's the best time of the day for me, frankly. And I know it's the same for you. I think, geez, I don't have to answer my phone. I don't have to think about anybody. I just can sit and think about Krishna. And all I really have to, I'm not thinking of pictures of I just hear Krishna's holy name, take shelter of it. And it just gets better. So, one who has, that's what I was going to say. It's they think that we don't know. Well, you don't understand the taste of sex. You were a loser. You didn't have enough girlfriends, or, well, just because you weren't able to buy that red Ferrari. You weren't able to achieve it, and therefore, what is it? The grapes are sour. Prabhupada likes to use that example because you couldn't get it. Therefore, you become detached, but the desire is still in there. You just, you settled for second best because at least you're in the temple and there's no anxiety and whatever. Of course, there is anxiety for Krishna, how to increase. But the fact of the matter, here the Bhagavatam is saying, we know. We know all the different pleasures. We know all the different, where they rate on the scale. With the mode of ignorance, well, that's not very high. Mode of passion, okay, that's a mode of goodness. That's high up on the material scale. We know all of that. Here we know how to seduce a woman, how to make money. It's not that the devotees don't know. The devotees know the whole story. After many lifetimes, was it, I'm a little tired. Vasudeva? Yeah, but Vasudeva Savamiti. Yeah, but so what is it? After many lifetimes. After many, many, many lifetimes. The devotees know, forget it. I'm just going to surrender to Krishna. So it's not that we don't know. It's we know it perfectly. Not that anything's missing in the Bhagavatam. So I wanted, in the few minutes we have left, just for fun, my son reminded me the other day. Here's the thing. We are swimming upstream. The conditioned soul, Hanuman's mood. Hanuman's mood was what? What was his fixed meditation? Okay, I'm a little broader. He was just to get, you're right, but just to get Sita. I mean, after Sita was back, fine. You're completely correct, Dravida. But his meditation was how to save Sita from Ravana. That was his meditation. And I remember early Sankirtan devotees, that was their mood. We're going to get Lakshmi, we're going to pry it out of the hands of these conditioned souls, and we're going to give it back to Krishna. We're going to save the goddess of fortune. Sita is an expansion of the goddess of fortune. We're going to save Sita. So to use Krishna's things in Krishna's service, that's the meditation of a devotee. That's the proper use of intelligence. So the conditions, why is Prachini Barshat, King Paranjana, the intelligence is so attracted to being able to enjoy this material nature. That's what's been going on here. He's attracted, the queen, the intelligence is helping him enjoy the material nature. Because it's what we came here for. Oh, you're going to help me. You're going to help me become, rich, powerful. What did they say? No one's greater than me. What's in the Asurik and the Bhagavad Gita, Yeah, you're going to help me fulfill all these things. My material intelligence, I'm so smart. I've got it all figured out. I'm going to figure out how to get all these things. And the more we think about them, we become attracted and completely intoxicated. So my son reminded me, but it doesn't work. So we're swimming against upstream. So my son reminded me that the other day, I used to rent an apartment over here. And the man who owned it was Mr. Lowe. He lived in the apartment, the condo in front, and my kids and I lived in the condo in back. And he was not the brightest, I don't think he's listening, so he's probably gone now. But he was not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. And my son and I were at a stoplight. We were going somewhere, right down here on Grand. We were at Garnett. We were at a stoplight. And there was Mr. Lowe. And he was trying to get into a restaurant. We're waiting at the red light. My son said, hey, there's Mr. Lowe. And he was, pushing and pushing and pushing against the door. You saw he'd look, it's full of people. It's definitely open. Waitresses, and he's pushing and pushing and pushing. My son called out, pull, Mr. Lowe, pull. Oh, okay. He pulled the door. He could get in very easily. But he was trying to push. He'd missed the big sign. Pull, How do you get... So we're like that. We are pushing and pushing and pushing. We're trying to be the enjoyer, and it's just not working out. And the alternative is so simple. We hear from the sadhus. We hear from Shastra. We hear from our spiritual master. And it's easy. You just pull the door, and you walk right into the house of bhakti. What's the problem? And how do you want to enjoy? You can do whatever you want to do for Krishna. Whatever it is. Who was it saying the other day? Was it you, Balaram? You were saying that somebody was saying that you asked Krishna, they asked Prabhupada in class, what is it that what is the best way to serve you? Narantra asked. And, you often, Prabhupada would say, distribute my books. But as equally as often, he would say, just become a devotee of Krishna. Just worship Krishna. Just, So whether you're a garland maker, you're a cook, you're a gardener, you go out and distribute books, of course that's very nice, and it's good for you also. It's high sadhana, as Vaisheshika Puri said. You really have to surrender. It is high sadhana, book distribution. If you want to advance quickly, go on book distribution. But whatever you do in Krishna's service, there's a taste. Karandar, and I want to read this about intelligence. I guess we'll close with that. Karandar Prabhu, when he was a bhakta, he was our early GBC. He was one of the first BBT trustees. He really did a lot for Krishna, Karandar Prabhu. And Prabhupada was very fond of him. Karandar came to this LA or San Francisco, must have been San Francisco, came to the San Francisco temple. Jayananda, anyway, I don't want to spend so much time glorifying Jayananda. There's so many things you could say. Once we go down that road, we'll never finish. But he met Jayananda, who was taking out the garbage. It was after a big festival, and he was packing up all the garbage and throwing it into the truck to take it down to and said, hey, can you help me? So Karandar, I forget his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, Bhakta, whatever. He helped him pack up the garbage and all the trash, and they put it all in the truck, and they went out to the, whatever it is, to the trash yard or whatever it is, junkyard, dumped it and came back. And he said it was the most fun he'd ever had in 2 hours of his life. It was the most fun-packed, satisfying. And he said, if the garbage man at the temple, he didn't know, what Jayananda's position was. He said, if the garbage man at the temple is as happy, imagine how happy the other devotees are, I'm joining, I'm jumping in, So even you're the garbage man, either you're, cleaning, whatever it is. We were on a walk with Prabhupada. He was walking around the Detroit temple. And the Devasadan Mandir, which had a lot of nice walkways and stuff. And it had some peacocks. And the peacocks passed stool on the sidewalk. So, Prabhupada, what is this? So Govardhan explained, well, Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, you should clean it. And then Prabhupada quoted from the Guru Vastakam that whether you're bathing the deity is stone on one hand. Of course, the deity is, completely sublime, Brahman. But whether you're the stone walkway or whether you're bathing the deity, it is equally the same. So that experience doesn't matter. You just serve Krishna. That's intelligence. So we'll close. I wanted to say a few things about just reading, because I did a little research. This is just from the Gita about intelligence, material intelligence. And we'll leave you with this meditation. So from the 3rd chapter, text 40. This is in purport. These are all from purports. Intelligence is the immediate next-door neighbor of the spirit soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spiritual soul to acquire false ego and identify itself with matter, and thus with the mind and senses. The spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material nature and mistakes this as true happiness. So the intelligence is that cusp, that can tip us one way or the other. By a steady, this is from text 43, by steady intelligence directed towards one's pure identity. So how to direct the intelligence? Intelligence, like here, she's seeking for some shelter in the forest. You have to stand up. You have to man up, as they say, Armed with yoga, stand and fight. Sorry, there's no other answer. We will not become Krishna conscious by osmosis. You got to man up, and you got to steer the intelligence. And how do you? By one's pure identity. Let me engage in service. There's only 3 more, and they're short. Intelligence is supposed to direct the mind, but the mind is so strong and obstinate that it often overcomes even one's own intelligence. And here's Prabhupada's great analogy. As an acute infection may surpass the efficacy of medicine. It's a nice analogy. It's Prabhupada, but it's a great, the mind becomes so feverish, if I don't get it, I'll die. I have to get it. If I don't get it, I'll die. No, you won't. But, it overcomes the intelligence. Intelligence refers to, that was from the 6th canto, 6th chapter. This is from the 10th chapter, 45, 4 and 5. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. Great. I thought from Prabhupada's, just great stuff. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. Like I always say, who here knows the slogan for Nike? Just do it. And it's blazoned all over. Just do it. So, yeah, just do it. Is that intelligent? Well, what should you do? Think before you do it. That's what the lemmings, off the cliff. I don't know if the lemmings actually go off cliffs, but the analogy is there. They just jump. Well, everybody else is doing it. Looks like fun. They say, when you say so far so good, that's what the man said when he fell off the roof before he hit the ground. The cruising, it's no problem. It's kind of fun. You're flying, So just do it. But hang on a second. What's the reaction? What's the result? Think about it. So here, it's just fantastic. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. Is it really valuable? Is it going to last? Does it help me? Does it help others? How long will it make me happy? What is the reaction of this thing? Tastes good now, but is it going to burn me later on? Okay, and here's the last one. When one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in the mode of goodness, and thus one becomes the controller of the mind. I'm going to read it again. When one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in the mode of goodness. What is the good use of that? We have so many do-nots. When I came to the temple, first time I heard Prabhupada speak, he said, we have so many do-nots. I thought he said donuts. I said, fantastic. Eggless donuts. I've been looking for those for a long time. I said, wait. Oh, my dull brain kind of warmed up. Wait a minute. So many do-nots. And it's true, we don't do this, we don't do that. You see new bhaktas, and it's tough, and we should be merciful. We're almost done. We should be merciful, You see sometimes a guest is coming to the temple, and don't touch this, don't this, stand here, don't point your feet this way. What's take your shoe? No. And you watch the guy. It's like a Gumby toy. Just this, that, bend them this way, bend them that way, stand. It can wear on you after, you're just, hey, Yeah, So, and we have so many. There's a right way to do everything. How to drink water. How to clean yourself. Where do you want to start? The Vedic culture is how to do everything. There's a right way to do. And what's just rules and regulations? You people, like Prabhupada said, they think we have a cleansing phobia. But no, if we follow these things, it puts the mind it puts the intelligence in the mode of goodness, and then the intelligence in the mode of goodness can control the mind and senses. And if we control the mind and senses, we become happy, we become free. So we'll end there, but that's what's going on here in this section of the Bhagavatam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Now the devotees